A single oil spill can cost millions of dollars in cleanup expenses, provoke harsh regulatory responses, and increase monitoring and limits on bunkering operations. Start with the person in charge, also known as the PIC. This individual must be a credentialed master, mate, engineer, or tanker. The first task of the PIC is to identify and share with the crew the vessel's oil transfer procedures. Transfer procedures should be prominently displayed for quick and easy reference by all on board. Oil transfer procedures include the location of all pipelines, valves, vents, and overflows, the numbers and duties of those people assigned to the transfer operation, all relevant procedures before, during, and following oil transfer, detailed steps for communication among the bunkering team, steps for topping off the tanks, and steps for initiating an emergency shutdown. The preloading plan should include descriptions of the tanks and their capacities, the current level and type of oil in the tanks, expected final oil level and percentage at completion, the sequence of filling, and the monitoring procedures. It's important to stress to the crew that monitoring is more than simply observing the filling procedure. It's frequently watching the tank levels and valve alignments too. Must emphasize, if anything appears to be out of order, crew members have a responsibility to stop or shut down the bunkering operation. Everyone must know they have that ability and responsibility to stop the transfer at any time. When in doubt, shut it down.
Anybody involved in the transfer.
Designating transfer personnel is a key responsibility. Regulations vary, but most mariners agree that at least 4 individuals should devote their full time and attention to the bunkering process. The point of transfer watch must remain at the bunker manifold connection between the barge and receiving ships throughout the entire bunkering operation. It's a best practice to maintain a deck rover watch monitoring for spills. Additional crew may be needed to monitor all tank levels during topping off tanks or during bad weather conditions. Crew members assigned to bunkering operations should be free of distractions during the transfer, including any other duties. Cell phone usage and other electronic distractions should be prohibited. Communications procedures range from coordinating radio frequencies to use of common hand signals and gestures. Because radios and walkie-talkies may fail, basic hand signals are useful backups. Pay special attention to communications procedures in case of emergency. And stress again to crew members that they can stop the bunkering operation at any time should they observe something wrong. When in doubt, shut down. Before the transfer process begins, prepare the deck and bunker manifold areas. This includes making a visual inspection of all equipment on both receiving and delivering vessels. As part of your preparation, close and secure all required hatches, doors, and portholes. Seal all scuppers and drains on deck, from which spilled oil may enter the water. And ensure the bunker manifold area is well lit for the sake of efficiency, safety, and maintaining crew alertness. Connect the bunker hose carefully. It may still contain some oil from a previous transfer. All pipe connections, tank vents, overflow, or fill pipes must have spill containment in place. Use a new gasket for each connection and secure bolts tightly before pumping begins. Double-check the alignment of all valves and inspect the hose itself for obvious defects. The hose should be properly supported to avoid undue strain on manifolds and rails. After the bunkering hose is attached, but before any oil is transferred, the PICs from the delivering and receiving vessels must meet for a pre-transfer conference to plan the operation. The conference must be conducted in English, and if there is a language difficulty, an interpreter should be available and present throughout the entire procedure. Conduct the conference face-to-face. Review together the loading plans and declarations of inspection, which will need to be signed. Next, use a checklist and jointly initial key areas of agreement, including the products, sequence, and flow of the oil, key procedures and personnel who will be involved, any watch changes agreed upon, and shutdown and topping off. Make sure there is agreement and clear communication regarding emergency shutdown procedures.
Declaration of inspection in the U.S. is a document with certain checkpoints on it, items that need to be addressed by both persons in charge.
Confirm tank soundings prior to starting your bunker operations. Levels, not volumes, and ensure that all piping and valves are aligned properly to the correct tanks. Once PICs from both the bunker barge and receiving ship give their okays, fuel delivery begins. Start at a slow rate to ensure the transfer is proceeding as planned. Increase rate of flow to your agreed-upon maximum rate. A best practice is to take frequent soundings of all tanks throughout the bunker operation and to make sure no fuel is going into the wrong tank, and to verify operation and accuracy of ship's gauging systems. Make sure you monitor fuel pressure on the bunker barge. High pressure could signal a blockage or improper alignment. Crewmen on the receiving ship should alert the barge crew at least 5 minutes before changing tanks, topping off tanks, or securing the load. Maintain constant communication and status reports between bunker barge and the receiving ship. If there is a failure to respond, shut down immediately. At the end of the bunkering operation, the PICs on both the barge and ship should check tank gauges and/or tank soundings and close all valves and tank fittings. Crews must make sure the hose is depressurized and drained back into the barge. Blank the hose connection with a new gasket and bolt it shut after cleaning it of any surface oil and before stowing it back aboard the barge. No two bunkering operations are exactly alike. There are lessons to be learned each time oil is transferred from one vessel to another. It's useful to hold a post-bunkering meeting with the bunkering team after each operation and identify areas for continuous improvement.